You stand in the heart of Chang'an, the Tang Dynasty's glittering capital, where the air hums with ambition and danger. Silk robes brush your skin heavy with the scent of jasmine and incense, but the elegance hides a battlefield. Courtiers glide past, their smiles sharp as knives, whispering secrets that could topple empires. At the center of this dazzling maze stands Wu Zetian, China's only female emperor, a woman whose name echoes through history as the most lustful empress. The label stings, doesn't it? It conjures images of scandal, forbidden desires, a ruler lost to passion. But pause, was she truly driven by lust? Or was it something fiercer, something the history books couldn't handle? You're about to step into her world, from a teenage concubine to the throne's iron grip, and uncover why her enemies slapped that word on her. Before you dive in, hit that like button, subscribe, and drop a comment. Where are you watching from and what time is it there? It's wild to think we're all here, scattered across the globe, unraveling her story together. Picture this. It's the 7th century, and Chang'an is a city that never sleeps. Massive walls loom over bustling markets where merchants hawk silk spices and stories from distant lands. Temples gleam with golden roofs, their bells tolling prayers to Buddha, while Confucian scholars argue in the shadows, clutching scrolls like weapons. You're not just a visitor here, you're Wu Zetian, or at least you're about to live her life. The palace sprawls before you, a labyrinth of red pillars and jade tiles where every step is a gamble. One wrong move, one misplaced word, and you're erased, forgotten in the harem's endless ranks. But you're not here to fade away. You feel it, don't you? That spark in your chest, the itch to be more than a pretty face in a gilded cage. That's Wu Zetian's fire, and it's about to burn through history. The lustful label, let's get real, it's a cheap shot. History written by men with grudges loves to slap scandal on women who dare to rule. Wu Zetian wasn't sipping wine and chasing lovers. She was outsmarting emperors, rewriting laws, and building an empire that rivaled Rome. The Tang Dynasty was a golden age, a time when China's borders stretched wide. Its poets sang, and its armies marched with swagger. But it was also a man's world, where women were expected to bow, serve, and vanish. You as Wu didn't just break those rules, you shattered them, ground them to dust, and built a throne on the wreckage. So why lustful? Maybe it wasn't about bedroom antics. Maybe it was her hunger for power, a desire so raw it scared the scholars silly. Lust for control, for legacy, for a world that bent to her will. That's the real story you're about to uncover. You start young, barely 14, when you're plucked from your family's estate in Lizhou and sent to the imperial palace. You're not naive, though. Even as a kid, you knew the world wasn't kind to dreamers, especially female ones. Your father, a wealthy merchant, taught you to read, a rarity for girls. You devoured histories, poetry, even military tactics, your mind a sponge soaking up forbidden knowledge. Now in the palace, you're a low-ranking concubine, one of hundreds vying for Emperor Taizong's glance. The harem is a snake pit, jealousy festers, gossip bites, and every smile hides a dagger. But you're sharp, noticing who holds power, who whispers to whom, who falters under pressure. You're already playing a game most don't even see. The palace itself is a sensory overload. Lanterns flicker, casting shadows that dance like spies. You hear the clink of jade hairpins, the rustle of silk, the distant wail of a zither. Servants scurry their eyes downcast, while nobles strut like peacocks, their robes trailing arrogance. You learn fast beauty alone won't save you. You charm with wit, your words precise, your laughter just warm enough to disarm. Taizong, a warrior emperor, with a steely gaze, notices you. Not for long, but enough to plant a seed. You're not in love. This isn't a fairy tale. You're surviving, calculating, waiting for your moment. And when Taizong dies, that moment seems to slip away. You're sent to a nunnery, your head shaved, your future a cold grey blur. But you don't break, you plot. That's the Wu Zetian you're stepping into, not a seductress, but a strategist. The lustful tag. It's a lie born of fear. Men like their empresses, meek, their women silent. You, though, were neither. You saw a throne and claimed it not with tears or charm, but with a mind that cut like a sword. The court called you ruthless, said you murdered rivals, maybe even your own kin. True, maybe. But in a world where power was life and weakness was death, you didn't have the luxury of softness. You built temples, conquered lands, and lifted commoners to high office, all while dodging plots and poison. Lustful, more like relentless, a force too bright for history's dim pages. As you stand in Chang'an's palace, you feel the weight of what's coming. You'll rise from concubine to consort, from shadow to sunlight. You'll face emperors, rebels, and your own blood each step, carving your name deeper into China's soul. The whispers of lust will follow, but you'll laugh them off. You're not here for scandal, you're here to rule. And rule you will, through fire and intrigue until the empire kneels. But let's rewind back to the beginning, before the crown, before the blood. You're a girl in Lizhou 624, standing in your family's sprawling courtyard, the air thick with the scent of pine and charcoal from your father's timber trade. The sun burns high, glinting off the tiled roof, but your eyes are on the horizon, where mountains blur into dreams bigger than this sleepy town. You're Wu Zetian, though the world doesn't know it yet. Your life should be simple. Learn to sew, marry, a noble fade into the role of wife and mother. But you're not built for that. Your heart races with ideas, your mind a restless beast clawing at the cage of Confucian rules. You're meant for more, and you know it, even if no one else does. The neighbors whisper about your boldness, how you argue with boys and read scrolls meant for men. You don't care. Let them talk. You're forging a path they can't imagine. Your home is no peasant hut. Your father, Wu Zhou, is a merchant with connections, a man who carved his wealth from forests and trade routes. He's not soft, but he sees something in you, maybe the same fire that drove him from obscurity to status. Unlike most fathers, he doesn't chain you to the loom. You're barely 7 when he hands you a book, its pages brittle with wisdom. Read. He says, his voice gruff but proud. You do more than read. You devour histories of emperors, tales of warriors, and poems that sing of power. Your brush dances across paper, your calligraphy sharp as your thoughts. You learn to play the zither, not to charm suitors, but to sharpen your mind, each note a strategy. Your mother, Lady Yang, frets, urging you to be demure. You nod, but your smile hides a rebellion. By 10, you're debating scholars twice your age, your words cutting through their smugness like a blade through silk. They laugh at first, a girl daring to speak of politics. But you don't falter. You quote Confucius, twist his words to fit your vision, and watch their faces sour. She's unnatural, they mutter, but you hear respect beneath their scorn. You're not just smart. You're fearless, a spark in a world that prefers women dim. Your father's friends, grizzled generals and sly officials, test you with riddles about war and governance. You answer not with guesses, but with plans. They raise their cups, half amused, half unnerved. This one, they say, she's trouble. You smile. Trouble is exactly what you plan to be. Lizhou isn't small, but it feels like a trap. The town's markets buzz with gossip and goods, but you're bored by the chatter of silk prices and betrothals. You climb the hills at dusk, your sandals kicking dust, and stare at the stars, imagining a world where your name echoes like the emperors you read about. You're not naive, though. You know the Tang Dynasty is a man's game, where women are pawns, valued for beauty, or sons, not brains. Your mother drills this into you. Lower your eyes, soften your voice. You try, but it's like caging a hawk. You're meant to soar, not perch. And then the summons comes a letter sealed with the imperial crest. At 14, you're called to Chang'an to serve Emperor Taizong as a concubine. Your heart leaps not with joy, but with hunger. This is your chance. Packing your life into a wooden chest, you feel the weight of what you're leaving. Your siblings, your books, the hills where you dreamed. Your mother weeps, clutching your hands, warning of the palace's dangers. Be careful, she says, her voice cracking. You nod, but careful isn't your style. Your father, silent, grips your shoulder. His eyes say what his words don't fail. You won't. The journey to Chang'an is long, your cart rattling over roads worn by armies and traders. You pass villages where women toil their lives bound by tradition. You pity them, but you don't look back. The capital looms ahead its walls, promising power and peril. You're not a girl anymore. You're a player ready to gamble everything. The lustful label that history will pin on you. It's laughable here in Lizhou's dust. You're not chasing men or scandal. You're chasing destiny. But you're not blind to the world's rules. You know beauty opens doors, so you learn to tilt your head just so to let your laugh linger. Not because you crave attention, but because it's a weapon. You're crafting a mask, one that hides the steel beneath your smile. Years later, historians will twist this, calling you a seductress who bewitched emperors. You'd roll your eyes if you could. Seduction. No strategy. Every step you take is calculated, every word a move in a game you're already winning. As you near Chang'an, the city's glow lights the night sky. A beacon of ambition. You're not nervous, though your hands tremble slightly, gripping the cart's edge. You're young, but you've read enough to know the palace is a snake pit. Concubines claw for favor, nobles scheme, and emperors demand loyalty or heads. You're not here to be a pretty face lost in the harem's shadows. You're here to climb, to carve your name into history's stone. The guards at the city gates eye you, a girl from nowhere, but you meet their gaze. You step through the palace gates of Chang'an 638, a 14-year-old girl swallowed by a world of crimson pillars and golden tiles. The air hums with intrigue, thick with the scent of sandalwood and the clink of jade ornaments. You're Wu Zetian, a low-ranking concubine in Emperor Taizong's harem, one of hundreds of women vying for a flicker of his attention. The palace is a labyrinth, its corridors alive with whispers and shadows, where every glance is a calculation, every smile a blade. You're not here to drift like the others, primping for a night's favor. Your mind, sharpened by years of study, in Lizhou sees the harem for what it is. A battlefield where beauty is armor, wit is a sword, and survival demands both. You're ready to fight, but not with tears or flattery. You've got bigger plans. The harem is a glittering cage, its walls painted with peonies and dragons, its floors polished to mirror your reflection. You're given a tiny chamber, barely bigger than a closet, with a straw mat and a single lantern. Other concubines draped in silk eye you like a stray cat, some with pity, others with scorn. They're older, their faces caked with powder, their laughter practiced to please. You're different, your eyes too sharp, your posture too defiant. You don't giggle or gossip about the emperor's moods. Instead, you listen, your ears catching fragments of court secrets, a minister's bribe, a general's grudge, a rival's pregnancy. You store these like coins, knowing knowledge is power in a place where beauty fades fast. Your days are a grind of routine. You rise at dawn, your breath visible in the chilly air, to attend lessons in etiquette, dance, and poetry. The older concubines glide through these, their movements fluid, but you stumble, your hands clumsy with a fan. You grit your teeth, practicing late into the night, your shadow flickering against the wall, not because you care about grace, but because perfection is a shield. You learn to tilt your head just so, to let your voice carry a hint of mystery. The other girls mock you, calling you scholar girl, but you don't flinch. Let them underestimate you. You're not here to win their friendship. You're here to outlast them. Taizong the Emperor is a distant figure, a warrior with a hawk's gaze and a temper that shakes the court. You see him rarely passing through the harem like a storm. When you do, you don't fawn like the others, dropping to your knees with rehearsed tears. You meet his eyes, brief but bold, and offer a poem you wrote, your voice steady. He pauses, surprised, then nods. It's not love, don't be naive, but it's enough to make you a name. The clever one, they call you, half admiring, half afraid. You smile knowing a name is the first step to a legacy, but the harem's claws are sharp. A rival jealous of your moment spills ink on your robe, smirking. You don't cry. You sew a new pattern, turning the stain into art, and wear it prouder than ever. The palace isn't just about beauty, it's about power. You see it in the Empress, her every word law, her jewels heavier than your dreams. You study her, noting how she sways ministers with a glance, how she buries enemies with a smile. You learn to mimic her poise, but not her softness. You're harder, hungrier. You befriend servants, the invisible eyes of the palace, trading small favors for gossip. Who's rising? Who's falling? You map the court like a general maps a battlefield, your mind sketching alliances and traps. The other concubines chase the emperor's bed. You chase his trust, knowing it's worth more than a night's passion. But the harem's dangers are real. You wake one morning to find a scorpion in your shoes, its sting meant for you. You crush it, your heart pounding, but you don't scream. You burn the shoes silent and watch the flames. Someone wants you gone. Maybe a rival, maybe a noble who fears your ambition. You don't confront them. You wait, your eyes scanning every face, your ears catching every whisper. You start sleeping with a dagger under your mat. It's cold steel, a reminder. Trust no one. The palace is a game of go, each move, deliberate, each mistake, fatal. You're young, but you're learning fast, your innocence peeling away like old paint. The lustful label history will pin on you. It's absurd here in the harem's grind. You're not chasing men, you're chasing survival. But you're not blind to your charm. You use it, letting a guard linger on your smile, coaxing a scholar to share a scroll. Not because you want them, but because they're useful. Years later, historians will twist this, painting you as a seductress who climbed with wiles. You'd laugh if you could. Wiles, try-wit patience, and a will that bends but never breaks. The court wants you soft, a flower to be plucked. You're no flower. You're a thorn, ready to draw blood. By 649, Taizong's health fades, his coughs echoing through the palace. The harem buzzes with panic. Without his favor, you're all expendable. When he dies, the court mourns, but you feel the ground shift. Custom demands you leave, shaved and cloaked, for Ganye Temple, a nunnery where concubines are buried alive in prayer. You kneel before the altar, your scalp raw, your robes coarse, but your mind doesn't kneel. You're not done. You pray not for peace, but for a way back. The temple's silence is suffocating, its walls cold as doubt. But you carve plans into the dark, your whispers sharper than any blade. The palace hasn't seen the last of you. You're kneeling in Ganye Temple, 650. The air heavy with incense and the drone of chants. Your shaved head itches under a coarse hood. your body draped in grey robes that smell of dust and defeat. The nunnery's walls closing cold and unyielding, a prison for concubines cast off after Emperor Taizong's death. You're Wu Zetian, barely 26, but the world thinks you're finished, another girl swallowed by the Tang Dynasty's endless churn. The other nuns shuffle past their eyes, vacant, their prayers mechanical. You mimic them bowing to Buddha's statue, but your heart doesn't bend. You're not here to fade into oblivion. Your mind sharp as ever spins plans like a spider spins silk, waiting for the one thread that will pull you back to Chang'an's palace. You know it's coming. You feel it like a storm gathering beyond the horizon. The temple is a world of shadows. Oil lamps flicker, casting ghosts on stone walls carved with sutras. You rise before dawn, scrubbing floors, fetching water, your hands raw from labor meant to humble you. The abbess watches her lips tight, suspicious of your too steady gaze. You keep your head low, but your thoughts soar, replaying every lesson from the harem, every alliance, every betrayal. You whisper to yourself at night, your breath warm against the straw mat, mapping the court's new players. Emperor Gaozong Taizong's son now sits on the throne, a man you met briefly, his soft eyes lingering on you once. You cling to that memory, not for love, but for leverage. He's your way out, if you can play the board right. Days bleed into months, each one a test of patience. You steal moments to read sneaking scrolls from the temple's library. Your fingers tracing words of power and strategy. You practice your charm on the monks. Your voice gentle but precise, coaxing smiles from men who've sworn off desire. They don't suspect you're honing a weapon, preparing for a battlefield grander than this stone cage. Then the rumor reaches you, carried by a visiting merchant. Gaozong is unhappy, his empress childless, his harem restless. You seize it like a lifeline. You send a letter disguised as a prayer through a trusted servant. It's a gamble, bold, dangerous, but you've never played safe. You ask to serve the new emperor, framing it as duty, not ambition. Your heart pounds as you wait the temple's silence, mocking your hope. The reply comes like a thunderclap. You're summoned back to Chang'an, not as a nun, but as a consort. You pack nothing, leaving the grey robes behind your scalp, prickling with new hair, a symbol of rebirth. The journey back is a blur, your cart rattling over familiar roads. But you're not the girl who left. You're harder, hungrier, your eyes fixed on the palace's distant glow. When you arrive, the court buzzes with scandal. The nun returns, they whisper their voices, dripping with disdain. You don't care. You're here to climb, and Gaozong is your ladder. He's different from his father, less steel, more hesitation. But he's drawn to you, your wit, your fire. You don't seduce him, not in the way gossips claim. You listen, advise, become his anchor in a sea of scheming nobles. By 651, you're bearing his sons, your status rising like smoke. The harem, though, is a viper's nest. Empress Wang Gaozong's wife glares as you enter her domain, her silk robe stiff with authority. Pure concubine Xiao, another rival, smirks her beauty, a blade she wields with ease. You're no match for their polish, but you don't need to be. You outthink them. Your mind a chessboard where every move is planned. You befriend maids, bribe eunuchs, and learn the palace's pulse, who's loyal, who's for sale. When Wang tries to undermine you, spreading rumors of your disloyalty, you counter with poetry, your verses praising Gaozong's wisdom, winning his heart. Xiao's barbs sharp as thorns bounce off you. You're not here to spar, you're here to win. By 655, the court is a powder keg. Wang and Xiao plot against each other, leaving you an opening. You strike, whispering to Gaozong of their failures, their barrenness, their disloyalty. He listens, his trust in you growing. When your infant daughter dies, the court erupts with horror. Some say you killed her to frame Wang. You don't blink, your face a mask of grief, but inside you're steel. True or not, the accusation sticks, and Wang falls deposed alongside Zhou. You're named Empress Consort, your robes now heavy with gold, your name on every tongue. The palace kneels, but you feel the daggers in their eyes. You've won the throne's shadow, but the real fight is just beginning. The lustful label history will slap on you. It's born here in these venomous whispers. They don't call you clever or ruthless. No, they call you a temptress, as if your mind didn't carve this path. You laugh a sound that echoes through the harem's halls. Temptress, try tactician. You didn't climb by batting lashes. You climbed by reading men, not seducing them. Gaozong leans on you, his health frail, his court chaotic. You advise on taxes, wars, even justice, your voice steady where his wavers. The nobles hate it, their Confucian pride bruised by a woman's power. They scribble lies, saying you bewitch the emperor, your ambition a sin. You don't care. You're not here for their approval, you're here for the empire. As Empress Consort, you taste power's edge, but it's not enough. Gaozong's stroke in 60-60 leaves him weak, his hands trembling, his decisions yours. You sit behind a silk screen during court, your voice guiding his decrees. Ministers scowl, but they obey. You're no longer a consort, you're a ruler, the empire's unseen heart. The palace, once a cage, is now your stage, its corridors yours to command. But every step is a tightrope. Rivals plot, nobles scheme, and your own sons watch unsure if you're mother or monarch. You grip the reins tighter, knowing one slip could end you. The throne is close, but it's not yours yet. You're ready to reach for it, no matter the cost. You sit behind a silk screen in the imperial court 660, the air thick with tension and the rustle of ministers' robes. Emperor Gaozong, your husband, slumps on the throne, his face pale, his hands trembling from a stroke that's left him half a ruler. His voice falters, but yours doesn't. You speak from the shadows, your words shaping decrees, calming rebellions, and steering the Tang Dynasty through storms. The ministers, bearded and pompous, grit their teeth. A woman ruling. It's unnatural, they mutter, their Confucian scrolls clutched like shields. You don't flinch. You're not here to soothe their egos. You're here to save an empire. The palace, once a snake pit, is now your chessboard, and every move is yours to make. The court is a furnace of ambition. Red lanterns sway overhead, casting light on faces etched with fear or flattery. You hear the clink of teacups, the scratch of brushes on paper, the whispered plots in corners. You've learned to read this room like a battlefield, spotting allies in a nod, enemies in a pause. You promote loyal men, not nobles born to privilege, but scholars and soldiers who owe you everything. They call you ruthless, say you've turned the court into your personal stage. You smile good. Let them fear you. Fear keeps them in line. You cut taxes for farmers, send aid to flood-struck villages, and order roads built to bind the empire's far-flung corners. The people don't see you hidden behind the screen, but they feel your hand steady and sure. Your days are relentless. You rise before dawn, your chamber lit by a single candle, its flame dancing like your thoughts. You pore over reports, border skirmishes, grain yields, corrupt officials, your brush-marking punishments or praise. Sleep is a stranger. Your eyes burn, your shoulders ache, but you don't stop. The empire doesn't rest, so neither do you. You meet spies in secret, their voices low, reporting noble plots or foreign threats. You reward loyalty with gold, betrayal with exile or worse. The court whispers of your secret police a web of eyes and blades that roots out dissent. You don't deny it. Power isn't won with kindness. It's forged in blood and vigilance. Gaozong's health worsens his words, slurred his temper, erratic. You're his mind, now his will. You draft edicts in his name, your calligraphy bold, your decisions sharper than his ever were. You crush a rebellion in the east, sending generals with clear orders, no mercy. You negotiate with nomad tribes, offering silk for peace, knowing war would drain the treasury. The ministers hate your voice, but they can't argue with results. The empire grows its borders, stretching into Central Asia, its markets buzzing with Persian traders and Buddhist monks. You're not just ruling, you're building a legacy brick by brick, even if the court calls it tyranny. The harem, once your battleground, is now a faded memory. You've outgrown its petty games, but its lessons linger. You trust no one, not even your sons who watch you with wary eyes. Li Hong, your eldest, is dutiful but weak. Li Shi, your favorite, too young to rule. You love them, but love is a luxury. They're pawns in a dynasty's survival, and you'll sacrifice anything to keep the throne secure. The court accuses you of heartlessness, saying you banished rivals, maybe even kin, to clear your path. You don't blink. Truth or lies, it doesn't matter. You're Wu Zetian, and survival demands a cold heart. You wear it like armor, heavy but unbreakable. The lustful label history will pin on you. It's a cruel joke here in the court's grind. You're not chasing pleasure, you're chasing control. But you're not blind to the whispers. They say you favor young scholars, their poetry too polished, their loyalty too eager. You laugh, letting the rumors swirl. If a smile secures a minister's vote, you'll smile. If a poem buys a general's sword, you'll listen. Not because you desire them, but because they're tools, like ink or steel. Historians will call you a seductress, as if power came from your bed, not your brain. You'd scoff if you could. Seductress tri-strategist, outwitting men who'd rather see you kneel. By 683, Gaozong's breath rattles his life fading like a spent candle. He dies, and the court mourns their wails hollow. You don't weep, you act. As Empress Dowager, you hold the throne for your son, Li Hong, now Emperor Zhongzong. He's young, pliable, but the nobles see weakness circling like wolves. You step in your voice law, your will iron. You depose Zhongzong within months, too headstrong for your liking, and install Li Shi as Emperor Ruizong. The court gasps, a mother dethroning her son. You don't care. The empire needs strength, not sentiment. You rule through Ruizong, your decrees shaping a dynasty teetering on chaos. The nobles plot their scrolls filled with plans to restore the old order. You crush them. Your spies faster. Your blades sharper. Your power grows, but so does the hate. Scholars write venomous poems calling you a usurper, a woman defying heaven's will. You burn their words, exile their authors, but the whispers persist. They call you lustful, not for lovers, but for power, a hunger they can't forgive. You lean into it, your robes bolder, your gaze fiercer. Let them fear your ambition. It's what keeps you alive. You build Buddhist temples, their spires piercing the sky to claim divine favor. You commission statues, your face carved in stone, a reminder you're not just a woman, you're eternal. The throne is yours in all but name, but you want more. You're ready to seize it, to rewrite history itself, no matter who stands in your way. You stand before the imperial court in Chang'an 690, your robes heavy with gold-embroidered dragons coiling across crimson silk. The air crackles with disbelief as you declare yourself Emperor Huangdi of the Wu Zhou dynasty. You're Wu Zetian, no longer consort or dowager, but ruler in your own right, the first and only woman to claim China's throne. Ministers kneel, their foreheads pressed to the cold stone floor, but you feel their resentment sharp as a winter wind. A woman as emperor. It's blasphemy to their Confucian hearts, an insult to heaven itself. You don't flinch. You've spent decades carving this moment, and you're not here to ask permission. The palace, your battlefield, is now your throne room, and you're ready to reshape the empire in your image. The court is a spectacle of power. Jade screens gleam, incense curls like ghosts, and the distant chime of bells echoes from Buddhist temples you've built. You've orchestrated this day with precision, every detail a weapon. You hold a golden scepter, its weight grounding you, and your voice rings clear, proclaiming your divine mandate. You're not just a ruler, you're a living prophecy, backed by Buddhist scriptures. You've championed texts claiming you're Maitreya, the future Buddha, reborn. The monks nod their saffron robes, a sea of support, while scholars scowl their brushes, poised to condemn you. You've rewritten fate using religion as your shield, and it's working. The people weary of war and taxes see you as stability, not scandal. Your rise to emperor wasn't a whim, it was a masterstroke. For years you ruled through your sons Zhongzong and Ruizong, but their thrones were yours in truth. You tired of the charade of whispering commands from behind a screen. You wanted the crown, not its shadow. So you acted, deposing Ruizong in a bloodless coup, your spies silencing dissent before it could spark. You proclaimed the Wu Zhou dynasty, a new era under your name, and ordered grand rituals to seal your legitimacy. Temples rose their spires, piercing the sky, each stone a testament to your will. You commissioned a massive Buddha statue at Longmen Grottoes, its serene face mirroring yours, a divine claim carved in rock. The court calls it arrogance, you call it destiny. Your coronation is a symphony of symbolism. You wear a phoenix crown, its jewels catching the light, a nod to the mythical bird of rebirth. You rename the capital Luoyang, your divine city, shifting power from Chang'an's old guard. You issue edicts in your own name, your calligraphy bold, declaring reforms and pardons to win the people's hearts. You elevate Buddhism above Confucianism, a slap to the scholars who cling to tradition. Monks once sidelined, now advise you, their chants filling the palace. You're not just ruling, you're remaking the world, bending it to your vision. The nobles hate it, their whispers of rebellion growing. But you're ready. Your secret police, your eyes in every corner, ensure no plot takes root. The lustful label history will pin on you. It's a bitter laugh here in the throne's glare. They don't call you divine or brilliant, no. They whisper of your favorites, young men like the monk Huayi, whose poetry and loyalty you reward. You let the rumors swirl, knowing they distract from your true power. Lustful hardly, you're a widow in your 60s, your heart long hardened by survival. Huayi and others are tools, their flattery a currency you spend wisely. You favor them with titles, not passions securing their swords and pens. Historians will twist this painting you as a seductress who ruled through desire. You'd smirk if you could. Desire. Try dominion, a mind that turns men into allies, not lovers. Your rule demands every ounce of you. You rise before the sun, your chamber lit by flickering lamps, to review memorials, hundreds of scrolls demanding your judgment. You dictate responses, your voice steady ordering bridges, built taxes cut, or rebels crushed. You meet envoys from Persia and Silla, your gaze unwavering, negotiating trade and peace with a merchant's cunning. You promote men of merit, not birth, opening the imperial exams to commoners, a move that earns you the people's love and the nobles' hate. Your court is a kaleidoscope of faces. Turks, Koreans, monks, poets, all loyal to you, not tradition. You're not just an emperor, you're a revolution, rewriting the rules of power. The palace is your fortress, but it's also a cage. You sleep lightly, a dagger under your pillow, knowing enemies lurk in every shadow. Your sons now sidelined watch with mixed awe and fear, unsure if you're their mother or their rival. You love them, but love is a weakness you can't afford. You've banished rivals, maybe even kin, to secure your throne, whispers. Say you ordered deaths, your hands stained red. You don't deny or confirm. Let the court fear the unknown. It keeps them obedient. Your health holds, but age creeps in your joints, aching your eyes, straining over scrolls. You push through, knowing the empire rests on your shoulders. Weakness isn't an option. You walk the palace gardens at dusk, the air cool, the lotus ponds reflecting starlight. You pause by a statue of Maitreya, its stone face serene, and wonder if history will understand you. You've built temples, conquered lands, and lifted the poor, but the scholars write of your crimes, your ambition, your defiance, your refusal to bow. They call you lustful, not for pleasure, but for power, a hunger they can't forgive. You smile, your breath steady. Let them write their lies. You're carving your truth in stone, in laws, in the empire's beating heart. The throne is yours, and you'll hold it until the stars fall, no matter who tries to tear you down. You stand atop the imperial palace in Luoyang 695, gazing over your empire, a patchwork of rivers, mountains, and bustling cities stretching to the horizon. You're Wu Zetian, emperor of the Wu Zhou dynasty, your crown heavy, but your will heavier. The air carries the scent of blooming peonies and distant forges, a reminder of the world you've reshaped. Your rule, now 5 years strong, has turned the Tang Dynasty's flickering flame into a roaring fire. You've conquered lands, built temples, and lifted the poor, your decrees echoing from desert outposts to coastal ports. The court calls you tyrant, the people call you savior, but you're neither, just a woman who refused to kneel. This is your golden age, and you're forging it with every breath, even as enemies sharpen their blades. Your days are a whirlwind of command. You rise in darkness, your chamber lit by bronze lamps, their glow dancing on silk tapestries. You review scrolls piled high, tax ledgers, war reports, pleas from distant governors, your brush slashing through corruption with a flick. You've reformed the imperial exams, opening them to commoners, not just nobles. Farmers' sons now sit where aristocrats once sneered their loyalty, yours, their minds sharp from your schools. You cut taxes, freeing villages to thrive, and fund canals to carry grain, ensuring no child starves. The empire hums, its markets swollen with silk jade and spices from Persia. You're not just ruling, you're building a machine, each gear forged by your hand. Your armies march their banners, snapping in the wind. You've pushed the empire's borders into Central Asia, crushing nomad tribes in the Goguryeo-Tang War, your generals bowing to your strategy. You don't ride into battle, but your orders do precise as a blade's edge. You negotiate peace with Silla, trading gold for alliances, your envoys carrying your name like a talisman. The court marvels, though they hide it behind scowls. A woman outwitting kings. It's unthinkable, yet here you are. Your maps redrawn, your coffers full. You build roads to bind your conquests. They're stones laid by soldiers who chant your title, Huangdi, Emperor Divine. The arts flourish under your gaze. You summon poets, their verses praising your reign, their brushes dancing like your own. Li Bai and Du Fu, young but rising, owe their freedom to your patronage, your court a haven for dreamers. You commission the Longmen Grottoes, massive Buddhas carved into cliffs, their serene faces echoing yours. The Chenling Mausoleum rises a monument to your legacy, its towers piercing the sky. You walk its paths, your sandals crunching gravel, knowing it will outlast the lies. You publish biographies of famous women, a book lifting heroines from obscurity, your ink a defiance of Confucian chains. Women in your court stand taller, their voices louder because you dared to lead. Your faith shapes the empire's soul. You elevate Buddhism, its temples gleaming with your gold, their bells tolling your name. You declare yourself Maitreya, the Buddha to come, a claim that silences critics or sends them to exile. Monks pray for you, their chants a shield against Confucian venom. You balance Taoism and Confucianism too, a tightrope act that keeps the court in check. You're not a zealot, you're a strategist using faith like a sword. The people kneel not to dogma, but to you, their emperor who feeds them, protects them, sees them. You're not divine, but you're close enough. Your will bending fate, like a river, bends stone. The lustful label history will slap on you. It's a bitter jest in this golden age. They whisper of your favourites, Huayi the monk with honeyed words, or the Zhang brothers young and loyal. You laugh, your voice echoing through palace halls. Favourites, more like pawns, their talents yours to wield. You're in your 60s, your beauty faded, your heart cold to passion. You reward them with titles, not love their poetry, and swords securing your throne. Historians will call you depraved, as if power came from your bed, not your brain. You'd roll your eyes if you could. Depraved. Try brilliant, turning flattery into allegiance, men into tools. The court, though, is a viper's nest. Nobles plot their Confucian pride, bruised by your reforms. They whisper of restoring the Tang, their scrolls filled with treason. You strike first, your secret police swift their blades, silencing rebels before they rise. You exile scholars, burn their poems, and watch their fear grow. You're accused of massacres of blood staining your hands. You don't deny it, fear is your ally. You promote foreigners, Turks, Persians over nobles, their loyalty untainted by old grudges. The court calls you paranoid, but you're not. You're awake, your eyes seeing every shadow, your ears catching every plot. Your health holds, but age gnaws at you. Your knees ache climbing palace steps, your vision blurs over late-night scrolls. You push through your will iron, knowing weakness invites wolves. You walk the palace at dusk, the air cool, the stars bright above Luoyang's spires. You pause by a lotus pond, its blooms pale, and wonder if the empire will remember your light or your shadow. You've built a golden age, but at a cost, blood betrayal, a name smeared with lies. They call you lustful, not for desire, but for ambition, a fire they can't douse. You smile, your breath steady. Let them write their tales. Your empire shines, its heart beating to your rhythm, and no lie can dim that. You walk through Luoyang's palace 700, your silk robes whispering against marble floors, the air thick with intrigue and the faint tang of ink. You're Wu Zetian emperor of the Wu Zhou dynasty, your reign a beacon of progress, but the court's whispers cut sharper than ever. They call you lustful, a word dripping with scorn, not for your conquests or reforms, but for the men they claim you favour. You're in your 60s, your face lined, your beauty a memory, yet the rumours paint you as a seductress, your throne built on scandal. You laugh, a low sound that echoes through the halls. Lustful. Know you're a strategist, turning gossip into a weapon, loyalty into a shield. The court wants you shamed, but you're playing a deeper game, one they'll never understand. The whispers centre on your favourites, men like Huayi, the monk whose poetry once charmed you, and the Zhang brothers' young courtiers with quick minds and quicker smiles. You've elevated them, given them titles, let them linger in your presence. The nobles sneer their Confucian pride, wounded by a woman who dares choose her allies. They say you're bewitched, your judgment clouded by desire. You let them talk, knowing rumors distract from your true power. Huaiyi's bold verses rally monks to your cause. The Zhang's loyalty secures the court's younger voices. You're not in love, don't be absurd. You're a widow, your heart forged in survival, not romance. These men are tools, their flattery, a currency you spend to bind the empire's heart. The palace is a stage, every gesture watched. You sit in your throne room, jade screens casting shadows as courtiers bow their eyes, flicking to the Zhang brothers at your side. You notice, and you lean into it, praising their poetry in front of the court, your voice warm but calculated. The nobles blush, their scrolls trembling, while you hide a smile. Let them think you're distracted. They're easier to outwit that way. You assign the Zhangs to oversee temple funds, knowing their loyalty ensures your Buddhist projects thrive. Huaiyi, though, grows bold, his arrogance grating. You demote him, your voice cold, proving you're no fool for flattery. The court gasps, expecting tears. You give them steel your gaze, silencing their whispers. The lustful label isn't new, it's been dogging you since Gaozong's days. Back then they called you a temptress, saying you bewitched an emperor to steal the throne. Now they say you cling to youth, your favourite's proof of depravity. You see the pattern, a woman in power must be flawed, her strength unnatural. You're not surprised. Confucian scholars with their ink-stained beards worship a world where women bow, not rule. Your ambition, your refusal to fade is the real sin they can't forgive. You don't deny the rumors outright that's beneath you. Instead, you amplify them, letting a Zhang brother carry your fan. Knowing the court's outrage blinds them to your real moves. New laws, new allies, new wars won. You're no saint, though. You know the Zhang's presence stirs trouble, their youth a spark in a court of old grudges. You keep them close, not for pleasure, but for control, their loyalty a leash you hold tight. When Huaiyi oversteps preaching rebellion, you order his exile, your voice like ice. The court expects weakness, a woman swayed by charm. You give them strength, proving your throne isn't swayed by any man. The rumors hurt, though, in quiet moments. You stand by a palace window, the night air cool, and wonder why your mind, not your body, isn't enough. You push the thought away, your jaw tight. Feelings are a luxury you can't afford. The court's venom runs deeper than gossip. Scholars write poems, veiled insults, calling you a fox spirit, a demon in silk. You burn their words, exile their authors, but the lies spread, seeping into history's pages. You're accused of worse murders, massacres, a trail of blood to secure your crown. Some say you killed rivals, maybe even kin, to clear your path. You don't confirm or deny. Let the court fear the unknown. It keeps them in line. Your secret police, a web of spies, report every plot, their blades swift against traitors. You're not cruel for pleasure, you're cruel for survival. A lesson the harem taught you long ago. The throne demands sacrifice, and you've paid in blood. The lustful label will outlive you, you know it. Historians, men with grudges, will scribble tales of your debauchery, ignoring your temples, your laws, your empire. You see it in their eyes, the scholars who bow, but sneer their brushes, itching to smear you. You're not like Catherine the Great or Elizabeth of I, whose scandals faded into glory. You're a woman in a Confucian cage, where power is a man's birthright. Your favorites, your reforms, your defiance, they'll twist it all, making you a villain, not a visionary. You don't care, not really. You're building for eternity, not their approval. The Longmen Grottoes, the Qianling Mausoleum, the empire's beating heart, they'll speak louder than any lie. You walk the palace at dawn, the air crisp, the first light gilding the roofs. You pause by a Buddha statue, its stone face calm, and trace its curves, a mirror of your own resolve. You're not young anymore. Your joints ache, your hair grays beneath the phoenix crown. The rumors sting, but they don't break you. You've turned gossip into a game, loyalty into a fortress. The court calls you lustful, but you're something else, relentless. A fire no scandal can douse. The empire thrives, its people fed, its borders secure. You've outwitted men who'd see you fall, and you'll keep outwitting them no matter the cost. The throne is yours, but the fight isn't over. Enemies are closing in, and you're ready to face them. You pace the palace in Luoyang 702, your footsteps echoing on polished marble, the air sharp with the scent of ink and fear. You're Wu Zetian, emperor of the Wu Zhou dynasty. Your throne a fortress built on wit and will, but cracks are forming. The court, once your chessboard, bristles with enemies, noble scholars, even your own kin who smell weakness in your aging frame. You're in your late 70s, your joints creaking, your eyes straining over scrolls, yet your mind burns as fierce as ever. They whisper of restoring the Tang Dynasty, of dethroning a woman they've never forgiven. You grip your scepter, its jade cool against your palm, and meet their gazes with steel. You've outlived emperors and rebels. You'll outlive these vipers too. But the fight is brutal, and every step feels like wading through blood. The palace is a battlefield, its red pillars hiding traitors in every shadow. Lanterns flicker, casting ghosts on walls, painted with dragons, their claws a mirror of your resolve. You hear the rustle of silk, the murmur of plots in corridors, the scratch of brushes penning treason. The nobles, with their Confucian arrogance, despise your reforms, your commoner officials, your Buddhist temples, your defiance of their sacred order. They rally behind your son, Zhang exiled, but alive, a puppet for their dreams of restoration. You've crushed rebellions before, but this feels different, a tide rising against you. Your secret police, your web of spies work tirelessly, their reports piling high, a minister's bribe, a general's secret meeting, a scholar's coded poem. You act swiftly, exiling some, executing others, your voice cold as winter. Your sons are your deepest wound. Zhang, once emperor, chafes in exile his wife, whispering rebellion in his ear. Ruizong, your other son, lingers in the palace, quiet but distant, his loyalty uncertain. You love them, but love is a chain you've long broken. Their threats potential rivals, and the court knows it. Whispers say you've killed kin before your daughter, your nephews, to clear your path. True or not, you let the rumors fester. Fear is your shield. You summon Zhongzong's allies, your gaze piercing, and offer mercy or death. Most kneel, but some don't, their defiance a spark that could ignite a coup. You crush them, your blades faster than their plans, but each victory costs you your name, stained darker with every drop of blood. The court's venom runs deeper than plots. They call you paranoid, a tyrant lost to power, your lustful favorites proof of your decay. The Zhang brothers still at your side are lightning rods for hate. Their youth, their titles, their closeness to you fuel gossip that you're ruled by desire, not reason. You keep them near, not for passion, but for loyalty, their eyes watching where yours can't. When they overstep, demanding more power, you demote them, your voice sharp, proving you're no fool. The court expects weakness, a woman swayed by flattery. You give them strength, your will unyielding, but the rumors persist, a poison seeping into history's ink. You're accused of massacres, of purging entire clans. You don't deny it, let them fear the unknown. It keeps the wolves at bay. Your health falters, a betrayal worse than any plot. Your knees buckle on palace steps, your breath catches during late-night councils. You hide it, your face a mask, but the court notices, their eyes hungry. You rely on physicians, their bitter herbs burning your throat, and force yourself to stand taller, your phoenix crown heavy but defiant. You walk the palace gardens at dusk, the air cool, the lotus ponds still, and feel age's weight. You're not immortal, though you've played the part, your Buddhist claims of divinity, a shield now cracking. You've built an empire, but for whom your sons, the people, or just your name carved in stone to outlast the lies, the lustful label stings here in the twilight of your reign. They don't call you visionary or savior. No, they call you depraved, a woman who dared too much. You see the scholars, their brushes poised, ready to smear you as a seductress, ignoring your roads, your temples, your laws. You're not like male emperors, their crimes forgiven, their conquests praised. You're a woman, your ambition a sin, your power a scandal. You lean into it, your robes bolder, your favorites closer, knowing it blinds the court to your real moves, crushing rebels, securing borders, feeding the poor. You're not lustful, you're relentless, a fire no gossip can quench. You fight on your will, a blade. You promote foreigners, Turks, Persians, over nobles their loyalty, untainted by Tang nostalgia. You fund schools, ensuring your meritocracy outlives you. You crush a plot in the north, your spies uncovering a general's treason, his head rolling before dawn. But the victories are hollow. The court's hate grows a tide you can't stem. Your sons drift further, their silence louder than words. You summon them, your voice steady, demanding loyalty. They bow, but their eyes betray them. You wonder if you've raised rivals, not heirs, your love for them, a ghost you buried long ago. You stand by a palace window, the night air sharp, the stars cold above Luoyang's spires. You trace a jade pendant, a gift from Gaozong, and feel a flicker of doubt. Have you pushed too far, burned too much? The empire thrives, its people, fed its borders wide, but the cost is heavy blood betrayal, a name cursed by those you saved. They call you lustful, not for desire, but for power, a hunger they can't forgive. You straighten your jaw tight. Let them curse you. You've outwitted them all, and you'll keep fighting, no matter how close the end looms. The throne is yours, but the wolves are circling, and you're ready to face them one last time. You lie on a silk-draped bed in Luoyang's palace, 705. Your breath shallow, the air heavy with the scent of medicinal herbs and fading incense. You're Wu Zetian, emperor of the Wu Zhou dynasty, but your body betrays you, its strength sapped by age and illness. You're 80, your joints knotted, your vision dim, yet your mind still burns sharp as the blade you've wielded for decades. The palace, once your fortress, feels like a tomb, its red pillars looming, its corridors whispering of betrayal. The court's wolves have closed in their plots, ripening as your health fails. You grip a jade scepter, its cool surface grounding you, but you know the end is near, not just for you, but for the dynasty you carved from defiance and blood. The court is a storm, its surface calm, but its depths churning. Ministers bow their faces, masks of loyalty, but you see the hunger in their eyes. They sense your weakness, your trembling hands, your labored steps. You've ruled for 15 years as emperor, longer through shadows, but now the Tang Dynasty's ghost stirs. Nobles rally behind your son, Zhongzong, exiled, but alive, a puppet for their dreams of restoration. You've crushed such plots before your secret police swift, but this one moves faster, fueled by your fading strength. You summon your spies, your voice a rasp, demanding names, plans proof. They deliver, but it's not enough. The tide is turning and you're running out of time. Your sons are your deepest scar. Zhongzong, once your puppet emperor, now plots with his wife Wei. Their ambition a mirror of yours, but aimed at you. Ruizong, quiet in the palace, avoids your gaze. His loyalty a shadow you can't grasp. You've loved them, but love is a chain you broke long ago. Whispers say you killed kin, your daughter, your nephews, to secure your throne. True or not, you let the fear linger, but it's no shield now. You call Zhongzong to Luoyang, hoping to bind him with promises of succession, but his eyes are cold, his bow perfunctory. You see it then, you've raised a rival, not a son. The realization cuts, but you don't flinch. You've faced worse. The coup comes like a thief, swift and silent. In February 705, ministers and generals backed by Zhongzong storm the palace. You're too weak to fight your body a cage, but your mind rages. They demand you abdicate, their voices loud, their swords drawn. You don't beg or weep, you're Wu Zetian, and you've never knelt. You sign the decree, your brush steady, restoring the Tang Dynasty and naming Zhongzong emperor. The court cheers their relief a slap, but you meet their eyes, your gaze unbroken. You've lost the throne, but not your fire. You retire to a side palace, your steps slow, your phoenix crown gone. But your dignity, a crown no blade can cut. Your final months are a haze of pain and reflection. You lie in a modest chamber, its walls bear the air cool with spring's breath. Physicians hover their potions bitter, but you wave them off. You know death is coming, its shadow softer than the court's hate. You walk when you can, leaning on a cane. The gardens quiet, their peonies wilting. You think of Lizhou, your girlhood dreams the stars you reached for. You think of Gaozong, his trust, your first throne, and the empire you built, roads, temples, laws that will outlast you. The court calls you tyrant, lustful, a usurper, but you know the truth, you were necessary, a fire that burned chaos to ash. The lustful label haunts you even now. They didn't call you brilliant or divine, no. They called you depraved, a woman who dared to rule. The Zhang brothers, your last favorites, are dead, killed in the coup. Their loyalty, your final shield. You didn't love them, but you valued them, their minds sharp, their swords yours. Historians will twist this, painting you as a seductress, ignoring your golden age, your reforms, your vision. You see their scrolls, their brushes poised to smear you, and feel a flicker of anger. You're not like male emperors. Their sins forgiven, their names carved in glory. You're a woman, your ambition a crime, your power a scandal. You don't care, not anymore. Your legacy is in the empire's pulse, not their lies. You die on December 16th, 705, your breath fading like a spent candle. The palace mourns, but their tears are hollow, their relief louder. You're buried in the Qianling Mausoleum, a monument you designed, its towers rising like your will. Your tombstone, though, is blank, a silent judgment from a court that couldn't forgive you. They erase your Wu Zhou dynasty, rewriting history to bury your name. But you know better. Your roads carry trade. Your exams lift the poor. Your temples echo with prayers. You weren't loved, but you were vital, a spark that kept the Tang alive. You smile, if only in spirit, knowing your shadow lingers too vast to erase. You leave no regrets, only questions. Did you push too far, burn too much? The empire thrives, its borders wide, its people fed. But the cost was heavy blood, betrayal, a name cursed by those you saved. You stand in memory, your spirit, by the Qianling stones, and wonder if history will see you as you were a girl from Lizhou, who dared to dream, a woman who seized a throne, an emperor who changed the world. They call you lustful, not for desire but for power, a fire they couldn't douse. Let them call you what they will. You've left your mark, and it's eternal no matter how they try to dim it. You stand in the shadow of the Qianling Mausoleum 706, its stone towers piercing a sky heavy with clouds. You're Wu Zetian, or rather the echo of her, your spirit lingering where your body rests. The world moves on the Tang Dynasty, restored, your Wu Zhou era, erased like ink washed from silk. The court rejoices their scrolls proclaiming Zhongzong's reign, but their pens turn venomous when they write of you. They call you lustful, a tyrant, a woman who defied heaven's order. You're not surprised. History penned by men with Confucian grudges loves to chain powerful women to scandal. You see their brushes dance crafting lies that will outlive you, but you know the truth, you were a fire they couldn't douse, and their hate is just proof of your light. You're not alone in this. Other queens, other empresses bear the same scars, their names smeared for daring to rule. The scholars waste no time. In Luoyang's halls, they gather their robes stiff with righteous fury to rewrite your story. You're not the emperor who built roads, fed the poor, or carved Buddhas into cliffs. No, you're a seductress. Your throne won through wiles, your reign a stain on the Tang's glory. They linger on the Zhang brothers' Huaiyi, the men you favored spinning tales of debauchery to explain your power. You laugh a sound lost in the wind. Debauchery. Try strategy, turning loyalty into a blade sharper than their ink. They accuse you of murders, rivals' kin, entire clans saying your hands dripped red. Some stories may hold truth. You never shied from sacrifice. But their tales grow wild, painting you as a demon, not a woman who saved an empire from chaos. You see the pattern clear as the stars over Lizhou's hills. Men forgive their emperors, warlords, tyrants, failures, but a woman's power is unnatural, a sin to be punished. They call you lustful, not for passion, but for ambition, a hunger they can't stomach. You're not the first. Across seas and centuries, others face the same. Catherine the Great, her conquests overshadowed by whispers of lovers. Elizabeth, her virginity mocked her strength, called cunning. Cleopatra branded a temptress, not a queen. You stand with them, your spirit unbowed, knowing history's pen is a man's weapon wielded to dim women who shine too bright. Your crime wasn't desire, it was defiance, a refusal to kneel in a world that demanded it. The Confucian scholars with their ink-stained beards cling to a world where women are shadows valued for sons, not thrones. You broke their sacred order, elevating commoners, empowering women, lifting Buddhism over their dusty scrolls. They can't forgive you for publishing biographies of famous women, for showing girls they could be more than wives. They can't forgive your exams which let farmers' sons outrank nobles. They can't forgive your temples, their spires, a challenge to their heaven. So they write you as a villain, your golden age, a footnote, your reforms buried under lies. You'd smirk if you could. Let them write. They can't erase the Longmen Grottoes, the channeling stones, the empire's pulse you strengthened. Modern voices, centuries later, begin to shift the tide. Scholars free from Confucian chains dig into your reign, their pens kinder. They note your stability, your meritocracy, your roads that carried trade to Persia. They question the murders, finding gaps in old tales, suggesting rivals, like Empress Wang, fell to court games, not your blade. They see your lustful label for what it is, a smear born of fear, for a woman who ruled alone. They compare you to male emperors Li Shimin. Your first master killed brothers for his throne, yet he's a hero. You who saved a dynasty are a monster. The double standard burns, but it's no surprise. You knew it in life, felt it in every scornful glance. You wander the mausoleum's paths. The air cool, the grass soft under your ghostly steps. You pause by your blank tombstone, a silent slap from a court that couldn't judge you openly. It's not empty to you. It's a canvas, waiting for truth to fill it. Modern minds do calling you a trailblazer, a feminist before the word existed. They praise your biographies, your laws, your vision that lifted women from shadows. They see you as C.P. Fitzgerald did without Wu. No long enduring Tang Dynasty. You smile your spirit light. You weren't perfect blood, stained your hands, fear your ally. But you were necessary, a spark that kept the empire alive. You compare yourself to others, your mind crossing oceans. Catherine's Russia thrived, but her lovers defined her. Elizabeth's England soared, but her chastity was her shield. You had no shield, only your will. Your throne won through fire, not flattery. In a Confucian cage where women were to serve you, ruled your voice law, your name eternal. You paid for it, your legacy, twisted, your name cursed. But you do it again, every step, every sacrifice. You weren't a saint or a villain, just a woman who saw a throne and took it no matter the cost. The scholar's lies can't dim that no matter how they try. You stand by the Chenling's gates, the wind carrying whispers of your name. You're not gone, not really. Your roads still carry merchants. Your exams still lift the poor. Your temples still echo with prayers. The court tried to erase you, but you're too vast, your shadow too long. They called you lustful, not for desire, but for power, a fire they couldn't quench. Let them call you what they will. You've left your mark in stone, in ink, in the empire's heart. History may judge you, but it can't unmake you. Your Wu Zetian and your story, smeared or not, will burn forever. You linger by the Chenling Mausoleum 706, its stone towers, standing silent under a sky streaked with dawn's gold. Your Wu Zetian, your spirit woven into the empire you forged, though your name is now a whisper, twisted by those who feared your fire. The Tang Dynasty hums along its markets, bustling its borders wide, built on the roads, laws and dreams you carved from chaos. Your Wu Zhou dynasty is gone, erased by scholars who couldn't stomach a woman's throne. But your legacy pulses in every stone, every scroll, every life you touched. They called you lustful, a slur for your ambition. But you were more a girl from Lizhou, who dared to rule a spark that lit an empire. You're eternal, your story, a mirror for those who dare to defy. And you're not done teaching the world. The mausoleum's blank tombstone looms a mute challenge from a court, too cowardly to praise or condemn you. You trace its surface, your ghostly fingers steady, and see it not as empty, but as a promise. History tried to dim you, but it failed. Your roads still carry silk to Persia. Your exams still lift farmers' sons to power. Your temples still echo with Buddhist chants. The Longmen Grottoes, their Buddhas gazing serene, bear your face, your will etched in cliffs that defy time. You published biographies of famous women, a book that lives in libraries urging girls to dream beyond the loom. You empowered women, gave them voices in a world that demanded silence, and that spark burns on brighter than any lie. You walk the empire in spirit, your steps light, seeing your work endure. Luoyang's markets thrive, their stalls heavy with goods you brought through peace and trade. Farmers till fields unburdened by the taxes you cut, their children fed by the granaries you filled. Scholars, though they curse you, rise through your meritocracy, their brushes inked by your vision. The empire's borders stretched wide by your wars pulse with life, from Central Asia's sands to Scylla's shores. You weren't perfect, blood, betrayal, fear were your tools, but they built a golden age, a dynasty that shines because of you. C.P. Fitzgerald's words echo. Without Wu, no long enduring Tang. You nod your spirit's smile sharp. You were necessary, and no scholar's pen can unwrite that. The lustful label, your old foe, lingers in the air like smoke. They didn't call you visionary or divine, just a seductress. Your ambition a sin. You see the in scholars' scrolls, their tales of the Zhang brothers, Huaiyi, spun into proof of depravity. You'd laugh at their lies if you could. Lust. You were a widow, your heart steel, your favorites tools for loyalty, not love. They can't forgive your ambition, your refusal to bow in a Confucian cage, where women were shadows. You stand with Catherine, Elizabeth, Cleopatra, women whose power drew the same venom. Your crime was ruling your hunger, a fire they couldn't douse. Let them call you lustful. It's just another name for relentless, a badge you wear with pride. Your legacy ripples beyond China's borders, touching minds centuries later. Modern scholars, their pens free from old grudges, see you clearly. A trailblazer, a feminist before the word, a ruler who stabilized a dynasty. They question the murders, finding holes in tales of your cruelty, suggesting rivals fell to court games, not your blade. They praise your reforms, your roads, your art, calling you a hero, not a villain. You smile, your spirit light, knowing truth is clawing its way free. Women today, from boardrooms to battlefields, echo your defiance, their steps surer, because you walked first. You didn't just rule, you cracked the world open, showing it could bend to a woman's will. You pause by a lotus pond, its blooms pale, the air cool with morning's breath. You think of Lizhou, your girlhood dreams, the stars you chased. You think of Chang'an, the harem's claws, the throne you seized. You paid for it, blood, hate, and names smeared for centuries. But you do it again, every step, every sacrifice. You weren't a saint or a villain, just a woman who saw power and took it no matter the cost. Your story, twisted or not, is a lesson. Ambition is no sin, defiance, no shame. You taught the world to fear a woman's mind, to respect her fire, and that lesson lives louder than any lie. You stand by the Qianling's gates, the wind carrying your name across mountains and time. You're not gone, not really. Your empire thrives, its heart beating to your rhythm. Your blank tombstone isn't empty. It's a challenge, daring the world to see you true. Modern voices answer, calling you hero, visionary, emperor. They see your light, not your shadow, your fire, not your flaws. You're Wu Zetian, and your legacy is eternal, a spark that lights every dream too big for its cage. The world may judge you, but it can't unmake you. Your story burns a beacon for those who dare to rule their own fate, no matter what they're called.